Hello, I am Aparna Pai from MILES, the Manipal Center for Innovation, Leadership and Entrepreneurship at the Manipal Academy of Higher Education, Mahe, Bengaluru, and I'll be your host for this podcast. Welcome to the MILES podcast, where we bring together founders, innovators, investors, industry leaders, and educators to explore the ideas shaping the future of entrepreneurship and innovation. In today's episode, we'll explore an important question. What does it really take to build entrepreneurs? What kind of learning environment helps ideas become successful ventures? And what role do mentorship, industry experience, and the startup ecosystem play in that journey? Joining us today is Mr. Harinarayan Sharma, CEO of the Manipal Foundation and Senior VP at Manipal Education and Medical Group, MEMG International India. With over 4 decades of leadership experience across healthcare, education, investment banking, and the steel industry, including more than 2 decades with the Manipal Group, Mr. Harinarayan has led growth strategy through mergers and acquisitions and driven early stage investments across sectors such as home care, diagnostics, e-commerce, student housing, and geriatric care. As CEO of the Manipal Foundation, the CSR arm of the Manipal Group, he leads impactful initiatives in education, healthcare, poverty alleviation, women's empowerment and skilling, while also mentoring early stage social entrepreneurs. He also led the conceptualization and establishment of MILES at Mahe, creating a platform that brings together academia, industry, and entrepreneurship to nurture the next generation of innovators. Mr. Harinarayan, it's a pleasure to have us with you. Welcome to the MILES podcast.
Thank you, Aparna. It's a pleasure to be here today.
We'd like to start with this question. Why do you think there is a need for a dedicated entrepreneurship and innovation program, and what gap does such a program fill that traditional education often doesn't?
I think the way to look at this particular dimension is the whole education process. As a child, we go to school to learn, to acquire knowledge. Then we move into the higher education institution to learn to apply deeper sense of knowledge and apply them in real life. That makes us employable when we finish from a university degree, with a university degree. I think the entrepreneurial journey also is similar. We have to learn the skill, the science of it before we make it into an art. And that science is unfortunately not taught in conventional education institutions. Either people become an entrepreneur by birth, by legacy. But there is in this current generation a whole new breed of people who want to be entrepreneurs. You can't expect them to be perfect entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs in the waiting without telling them the science of it. And that is the role which I believe institutions should play in creating that pathway of education for people to become successful entrepreneurs. Unfortunately, today it is not taught. And people think that entrepreneurship it will come by itself. It is not so simple. There is a science in it, and the person becomes an entrepreneur when he uses his creative and artistic skills to create that science into a solution. That's the nurturing which an education institution should provide. And I think that's what the MILES program at Mahe set out to do.
Thank you, sir. So, while building an entrepreneurship program, how important do you think is to bring the practitioners into the classroom? And what unique perspective do you think these entrepreneurs or investors, industry leaders bring that go beyond theory and frameworks?
I think this question is a natural sequence to the previous one. The fact is that entrepreneurship is not something which can be cast into building blocks. There is no perfect science of how do you take it from step 1 to step 2. People have become successful entrepreneurs because they have gone through this roller coaster ride. They know what is theory and how the theory can be put into practice. And when that theory into practice happens, there are a lot of nuances which they can't predict. What happens therefore in a situation where we are trying to create the next breed of structured entrepreneurs, we need people who have gone through this roller coaster ride, who know that exactly this is what theory says, but in practice you need to modify it. You need to have to know the nuance of it, how to play the game. That will only come through people who have gone through it. And therefore, the need for external people, people who are entrepreneurs, who have been practitioners. Let's take example of say tax. Tax is a very classic thing where people think there is a rule and everything follows the rule. Yes, there is a rule, but there is a way to apply the rule. That application only comes with practice.
True.
So I think the need to have practitioners across the spectrum to handhold a person who is aspiring to be a student in entrepreneurship makes that learning that much more nuanced, realistic and practical.
True. So we can learn from other people's
Correct.
experiences and then
Correct.
apply.
Because it's not possible for somebody to imagine all possible things that can go right or wrong. Any situation can go here and there. When that happens, you can't say no textbooks taught me this. Only a person who has gone through that regime will be able to tell you what is required to be done. And I think that's the learning value that practitioners bring to the table.
Nice. So why is experiential learning so critical, you think, for entrepreneurs and individuals who are looking to build or grow their ventures?
See, the fact is that it's a manufacturing process is relatively predictable. You put an input at one end, something will come out at the end, but there is always a whole sort of variables in it. A commercial venture is a very different thing because the input outputs are not predictable. Now, when the process is not very predictable, you have to know that it is unpredictable, and only experience will teach you how to manage unpredictability. So, when a venture is all about managing uncertainty and unpredictability, you can't learn it in theory. It has to be an experiential learning process. And as we said earlier, the people who are practicing it only can give you that experience. So, the mode of teaching itself has to be experiential, case based, understanding what has worked in one situation, what has not worked in one situation, and then form your own judgment. And what is applicable for one ice cream industry need not apply for another ice cream industry. So, I have to know what are the options available, and then I have to pick and choose what is applicable for me in a particular situation. I think that is what the academic program, in whatever form and fashion, should be capable of providing for the student.
Interesting. So we know that almost everyone has an idea, but not everyone is able to see it through. So in your experience, what differentiates those who successfully transform an idea into a venture, while other people are still afraid to take that first step? And what advice would you give them if somebody has like a promising idea, but then they're too scared to act on it?
So, I think the fundamental question that we need to ask ourselves before we want to embark on a journey, is it the right, do I have the right mindset to undertake a journey of this nature? See, erstwhile 20 years back, the aspiration was very simple. I need a job. For a job, I need a degree, and the job will give me a salary. Right. Today, that whole cycle has changed. In that situation, I can't be the same thinker, but now say I am ready for an entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah.
I have to be first clear in my mind that am I suitable for this? Do I have the mindset to do this? I mean, after 4 decades of experience, somebody asked me, do you have an entrepreneurial mindset? I will very honestly say no. If I had that, I would have been somewhere else doing something different, right? So, I think the point is, we need to understand where our interest is, what is our risk appetite, and where is our calling. If I want to make a difference to the world, then I will be engaged so seriously in doing a product or a service which is solving a problem. If I think money making is all my interest, then I will do anything that is required to make money. But I need to know that there is an attendant risk in that process.
Correct.
So, I think the core is to understand your risk appetite. How much are you willing to put at risk? And I keep saying this to people, at the age of 40, everybody says I have done enough, 20 years of work life, now I need to start something on their own. I ask them a simple question, are you not aware of what are the liabilities that you have at this moment of time? You have got 13, 14-year-old children, and at that point of time you want to risk everybody's future linked to what you want to do. Is it a fair question? I mean, is it a fair challenge to throw to your family? So, I think entrepreneurship is a question of risk appetite, the right time and the right idea. And the right idea is something which touches you. It is not right because somebody else has done successfully. I don't think that is the right approach. It has to be something which you feel is necessary and which you think will solve a real world problem. Then you will work towards making that solution really perfect.
True. So they need to have the passion, and they need to.
You need to have the conviction that, look, this is good to do. Just because somebody makes chocolate, I can't sit and make chocolate again.
Correct.
Right. I need to make a chocolate with a difference, but I should feel, okay, that chocolate needs to taste like this, needs to have a flavor like this. Then I cannot be a person who says, oh, I never like chocolate, but try to make a chocolate with this. It doesn't work. I mean, not the right comparison, but I think that's the level to which people should question themselves. Am I right for taking this risk? Like today, everybody says, I want to create an app by which people can learn physics, chemistry, maths. I don't know how it operates, but I'm just saying that for that you need to understand the basics of the subject before you. Technology alone cannot solve the problem. Subject matter cannot be put on technology. You need to have an understanding of both, and that is very key. So, in my view, risk appetite is very important to define. Knowledge is very important to know. You should be able to relate to the product or service you want to do. Then only you will excel.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can be a good ideator. You need not necessarily become an entrepreneur.
Yeah. And what problem they are solving to
Yes.
help others. Yeah. And so there are many entrepreneurs who have promising ideas, but then they struggle to take them forward. How important do you think is the startup ecosystem in helping entrepreneurs turn these ideas into successful ventures?
I think the only answer to this question is there has to be a complete ecosystem within which you play this game. This is not a 100-meter race that I have to do on my own. It's a very collaborative effort. Entrepreneurship, I can't be a technical person, I can't be a finance person, I can't be a marketing person, all put into one. I may know a little bit of all, but I need functional people to deliver what is good for my business. Let's take legal, marketing, finance, all these are specialized functions. We have people who have spent tons of years understanding this and specializing themselves as proficient in this. And just because I think I know at the surface all these subjects does not make me successful. I need to know how to get people who are functionally very good to work for us. And that is the key. I mean, this cannot be fought as a losing battle, as a single battle.
Good.
You have to take a collaborative effort of pooling in the right set of skills who share your idea and passion. You can't say, oh, you know technology, so come and work with me. If that person does not have a feel for food, you can't make him do things for you in the food space.
Correct.
So, somebody who has an idea on food and an idea on technology, but he is a proficient in technology would be the right person if I want to do something on food.
Yeah.
So, pooling together is a skill, and entrepreneurship is nothing but getting a set of people to work together towards a cause. It's a ship. It's an entrepreneurial journey on a ship, and the ship cannot function with one person. You need multiple people to pull that ship through, and that is why many people fall out of the wayside. We believe that, I have done things on my own. I think it's a wrong belief. We should learn how to collaborate. We should learn how to get many people to work with us. That's the only way the venture will succeed.
Getting the right co-founder and
team members. Right team. Co-founder is a title, but the right team to actually start delivering it, thinking about it. Everybody can become sleepless because there are 6 people who are applying their mind, and a problem always has multiple dimensions. How do you get these multiple dimensions people to come together? If you are saying that I am a loner, I only know how to read books, I can't collaborate with people, then you will not be successful as an entrepreneur. I am very deeply convinced about that. I may have seen wrong in an audience or a platform like this, but I believe the ability to collaborate is very key, and the ability to tap therefore the right set of people who will collaborate with you is equally important, and that is the success of an entrepreneurial journey.
Great. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your insights and experiences with us. It's been truly fascinating having this conversation with you and getting your perspective on entrepreneurship, education, and how it needs to go beyond theory, and how important it is to have the right mentors and get the right experience so that the ecosystem also supports you and you can transform your ideas into impactful ventures. To our listeners.
Sorry to interrupt, one minute.
Sir.
Sorry to interrupt. I think you mentioned a point about mentors. I think that is a very key element. We have to have the openness to engage with a mentor.
True.
That mentor may be a person who has spent in a very different industry, doesn't matter, but he brings in a wealth of maturity and experience which can cut across functions. And I think that is a very key role that people should identify very early in the journey of being an entrepreneur. If you have the right mentor with you right through, then the chances of you falling down to get up again is limited.
Right.
So mentorship is a very core component of a nice entrepreneurial journey. Sorry to interrupt you.
No. So with that, we'd like to tell our listeners, we hope today's conversation has inspired you to think differently about entrepreneurship. And thank you for tuning in to the Miles podcast, episode 2. Stay connected with us as we continue bringing you more such conversations shaping the future of entrepreneurship and innovation. Until next time, thank you for listening.